Happy morning, my dear students of class 7, and I am glad to welcome you all to today's zoology class. Our today's topic is going to be about sense organs. What are we going to learn today? We are going to learn about sense organs. You might think that you have started learning about sense organs right from grade 1 in science, right? What are you going to learn new in grade 7 then? So here in today's class we will be learning about the detailed structure of the sense organs. Today's class will be about the structure of the eye, and the upcoming classes will be about the structure of other sense organs. Clear? So today's class will be about the sense organ called the eyes. Okay. So before learning about the detailed structure of the eyes, what are the sense organs? Do you remember? What are your 5 senses? Eyes, ears, tongue, nose and skin, right? So the 5 sense organs are eyes, ears, tongue, nose and skin. This you know already. Suppose if I ask you what is the function of the eyes, what you will tell? You will tell to see, no? That will be the answer of a grade 1 student. What you have to tell is the function of eyes is to detect light. That's how a grade 7 student should say. Okay. Why so? Why do I tell that the function of eyes is to detect light? You have eyes. Suppose if you go into darkness, go into a dark room, can you see something? No. Your eyes can detect light. Only when there is light, your eyes can see, right? So the function of eyes is to detect light. What is the function of ears? The function of ears is to detect the sound. And tongue and nose, you know, tongue is for tasting, it is to taste, and nose is to smell. This you know. Okay, what is the function of skin? Why it is called a sense organ? Skin can detect or sense the touch. What is touch? If somebody touches you, you can sense only through your skin. The skin is the one which helps you to sense that somebody has touched you. Okay, and also the pressure. If I hold you tightly, if a person holds you tightly, if they apply pressure on you, you can feel through your skin. So skin is the sense organ that helps you to realize or sense the pressure on you, the physical pressure. Then also the pain. Suppose if you have a pain, what tells you that you have pain? The receptors of your skin only tells you that you have pain. And also the change in temperature. Suppose if it is too hot or too cold, then also you can sense through your skin. Say for example, the heat can be sensed through the skin. So the functions of the main sense organs are eyes is to detect the light, ears is to detect the sound, tongue to taste, nose to smell, and skin is for feeling the touch, pressure, pain and heat of the external environment. So this is about the 5 sense organs. These 5 sense organs have certain properties common in them. What are those properties? Some properties which are common for all the 5 sense organs are, all these 5 sense organs are external organs. What is an external organ and what is an internal organ? External means outside your body and internal means inside your body. Where can you find the sense organs, outside or inside your body? Outside, right? So the external organs are the sense organs. Every sense organ is outside your body. Your heart, kidney, all is internal organ, no, they are inside the body where you don't have access to. But here these sense organs are external sense organs. Everything can be touched by you, the eyes, nose, ears, everything you can touch. So it is an external organ. What is the speciality of sense organs? These sense organs have special type of cells called as receptors. What is the special type of cell called? Receptors. So every sense organ has a special cell, and that special cell is called receptors. Say for example, your eyes have photoreceptors, special cells for receiving the light. Photo means light, okay. So these cells will receive the light from the external environment, okay, and these cells are present only in your eyes, and that's why you can see only through your eyes. So photoreceptors in the eye. Similarly, taste buds, your tongue has special cells to taste, that's why you taste the food. So every sense organ will have receptors, which are nothing but special cells to do special functions. So what these receptors do? They receive stimuli. What is stimuli? Stimuli is the plural of the word called stimulus. You have studied about stimulus and response. Now what is stimulus? Stimulus means some external factor that will trigger you to respond. Say for example, if there is a sharp pin, and if you touch the pin, you will feel the pain and you will take off your hand. You will respond by taking off your hand. So what is stimulating you to take off your hand? The sharp pin. The prick will trigger you. So that is a stimuli. Similarly, if there is a hot temperature outside, then it is called the stimulus because it will make you feel hot, no? So it is a stimulus. So these sense organs, what they do? They receive the stimulus. Let it be, the stimulus may be a pain, or the stimulus may be a good smell, or the stimulus may be a good food which will make your mouth to water. So these are all stimulus, and the receptors will receive the stimulus, okay. The stimulus is produced outside. These sense organs have receptors to receive the stimulus. After receiving, what it will do? It will send it to the CNS. What is CNS? CNS is Central Nervous System, which includes brain and spinal cord. You have studied already, right? So CNS will receive the stimuli in the form of messages. How it will send? Suppose if your hand is here and brain is here, there should be something to send it to the brain. No, what sends? The sensory neurons of your body will send the signal or the message. So what will send? The sensory neurons would send the messages. So what have we seen about the general properties of the sense organs? All of the sense organs are external organs, and they all have special cells called receptors to receive the stimuli, and they send the stimuli to the central nervous system, either to brain or spinal cord, through the sensory neurons. So this is about the properties of sense organs. Next we will be learning about the detailed structure of eyes. Now we learn about the detailed structure of the eye. Where is your eyes? Actually, the structure of the eyeball I am going to describe. Okay, where is your eyeball? Eyeball is inside your skull. If you see a skull, no, in the eye region there will be two empty spaces, right? Inside the empty spaces only your eyeball is fixed actually. So we are going to learn about the detailed structure of that eyeball which is fixed inside the skull. Okay, so the eyeball generally consists of three regions called sclera, choroid and retina. So what are the three parts of an eyeball? Sclera, choroid and retina. So first we are going to learn about the sclera. So in your eyeball you have white region, no? Here this region is white in color, right? You have a black circle and white region, no? This white region is called the sclera. Okay, so before that, sclera is the outermost layer and choroid is the middle layer and retina is the innermost layer. In the structure of an eye, the sclera is always the outermost layer. See, in this section, detailed section of the eye, this is the eye, how it appears to us, and this is the detailed structure of a eye. Okay, I told you where is the sclera? Sclera is the white region of your eye. not the eye ball, not the one black in color, there is one white region, no, that is called the sclera. Okay, where is sclera in this structure? This is the, I told you sclera is the outermost region. So this is the sclera. So which is the sclera? Can you see three layers here? The outermost layer, the middle layer and the innermost layer, right? So the outermost layer is the sclera, and can you see a shaded region? It is the choroid. So which is the choroid? This one is the choroid. The outermost is the sclera and this is the choroid layer. Okay, and the innermost layer, can you see a third layer? One, second shaded region and the third innermost layer. So the innermost layer is called as retina. So are you clear with the three layers? Outermost sclera, middle choroid and the innermost retina. Okay, so first we learn about the properties of sclera. I already told you sclera is white in color. So the first property of sclera, first we learn about sclera and then we learn about the other two layers. So sclera, as I told you, the first property, it is white in color. Sclera is white in color. The second property is sclera is opaque. What is opaque? What is opaque? Opaque means it is not transparent. Light cannot pass through. Can light pass through this white layer? No, right? It cannot pass through the white layer. So it is white in color and then it is opaque, and also it protects the eye. What is the function of sclera? It protects the eye. Since it is the outer covering, the eye is protected by this outer layer only. So what we have studied is white in color. Sclera is the white region of your eye. It is white, opaque, and also it protects your eye. See here, if you see the sclera, I told sclera is the outermost region, this layer, right? So in this region, if you see, in the front region, it bulges, right? Is it smooth like this? Is it in the form of a smooth circle? No. Here you can see a bulging. Can you see here? It is bulged forward. Okay. This bulging is called cornea. What is this called? Cornea. Which is cornea? This bulging of the sclera layer is called as cornea, and in front of the cornea, this cornea, no, usually it is transparent. What is the property of cornea? It is transparent layer. Okay, and then can you see one more membrane just before the cornea? This is called conjunctiva. What is it called? It is called as conjunctiva. It is a delicate membrane. This is a conjunctiva. So the outermost layer is sclera. Sclera continues to project forward and it bulges in the forward region. That bulging alone, see, this region alone is called as cornea. This is called as sclera. When the sclera bulges outside, this alone is called as cornea. Then above the cornea, just before the cornea, there is one more membrane called as conjunctiva. Clear? So this is about sclera, cornea and conjunctiva. About sclera, what we have studied, it is always white, opaque, and the function is to give protection to the eye, and sclera bulges forward and that bulged area alone is called as cornea, and surrounding the cornea you have one more layer called conjunctiva, which is a delicate membrane. So this is about sclera. Next we learn about choroid layer. The choroid layer is the pigmented layer of your eye. Can you see the shaded layer? This is the choroid layer, which is the second layer I told you, right? This is pigmented. What is pigmentation? Pigmented means it has some color. It will have color. Which one is the choroid layer in your eye? The black circle you have inside your eyes, no? That is this big black circle is the choroid layer. This white one is the sclera, right? So this black color circle is the choroid layer, okay? And this choroid layer, just like the sclera, how it extends forward and had a bulging, similarly the choroid layer also, when it comes forward, it has a bulging. Can you see a bulged region in the front area of your eye? So this is called the iris. What is this called? It is called the iris, and this iris is the one which imparts color to your eye. If your eye ball is black in color, if this circle is black in color, then it means your iris is black in color. But some people will have either blue eyes or brown eyes all. So for them, this iris, I already told you, iris is the one which is colored layer of your eye. So if a person is having a blue pigment or a brown pigment in the iris, then their eyes will be blue eye or brown eye or whatever, gray eye, like that. The color may vary. Most of us will have black or brown, right? So it is because of the iris layer. The black circle in your eye is the iris layer, and inside that big black circle you have one more small circle. Have you seen that? That is called as pupil. What is that called? Pupil. What is pupil? And where can you see pupil? See, if you see this iris layer, it is not continuous. In the case of sclera, the bulged region was continuous, right? But in the case of iris, that is in the choroid layer, the bulged region iris is not continuous. There is a gap in between the iris, and this gap is called the pupil. It is actually a hole. Pupil is a hole. This dot inside the black circle, what you have one more small black circle, that is a hole actually, and that is called the pupil. Where you can find in between the iris a hole is present, that is called as pupil, and this pupil will dilate in the dark. Pupil will dilate in dark. What is dilation? Dilation means it will become bigger. It can adjust according to the light intensity. Whenever you enter into a dark room, this pupil will dilate, or it becomes bigger. The whole size becomes bigger to let more light inside your eyes for a better view. At the same time, oppositely, if you enter into a very bright light, this pupil will suddenly if somebody shows a bright light near your face, or in front of your eyes, what you do? You shrink your eyes, Why? Because you try to contract your pupil. You try to make the pupil size smaller for preventing too much of light entering into your eye. So automatically by nature your pupil will contract whenever you face a bright light. At the same time, whenever you go into a dark room, the pupil will dilate. It will become bigger in size, trying to view that dark place. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. D and D. Pupil will dilate in dark and it will contract or shrink in a light region. So what we have studied about the choroid layer, this is the choroid layer, and it is the colored region of the eye. Okay, why it is colored? It is also supplied with blood vessels. Which one? The choroid layer is first of all pigmented, and it is supplied with blood vessels. Only this layer of your eye is supplied with blood vessels, and whenever blood vessels reaches your eye is nourished, because you know after digestion all the nutrients whatever you eat will enter into the blood, no? So all organs of your body needs nourishment or food. Similarly, eye also needs food, no? So that food supply is by the blood vessels which is present in the choroid layer. What did I tell you? Only choroid layer will have blood vessels in the eyes, and they supply nutrients from the blood. Blood will have nutrients, and that is supplied to the eyes for its survival. Okay, and also what did I tell you? This choroid layer extends forward, it bulges in the front region, and this bulging is called as iris, and iris gives color to the eyes. If the iris of some person is blue in color, the person will have blue eyes, that circle will be blue in color. So iris is the region which gives color to a person's eyes. This iris is not continuous, there is a hole in between the iris, that hole is called as pupil. The hole is called as pupil, and the pupil will dilate whenever, that is it becomes bigger in size whenever you enter a dark room, and it will contract whenever a person enters into a bright room. So this is about the second layer called choroid. Next we learn about the third layer, retina. The third layer is the retina. Which is the retina here? This is the retina, right? So this retina is made up of two types of cells called rods and cones. Retina is made up of two types of cells called rods and cones. The speciality of rods and cones are, they are light sensitive cells. Rods and cones are sensitive to light. They cannot be exposed to light, and since they are in the innermost layer, of course the sclera will protect them from the light. Okay, so rods and cones are present in the retina, and they are light sensitive cells. They cannot be subjected to light directly. And also you can see a lens in your eyes. Where can you find lens? Just behind the iris region, or the pupil and iris region, there is a lens, and this lens is convex in shape. What is the shape of the lens? It is convex in shape. What is convex? Convex means this shape. It will be bulged on both the sides. What is concave? Concave means it will be this way. You must have studied in physics, no? Concave means it will be like a hollow one, and convex means it will be like a bulged region. So this is convex shaped lens, and the convex shaped lens is attached to the eyes with the help of a ligament. It is called suspensory ligament. Which is suspensory ligament? Can you see a thread-like structure connecting the lens with the eyes? This is called the suspensory ligament, which is present on both sides of the lenses. Okay, of the lens, only one lens you have. So on both sides of the lens you have suspensory ligaments, and also your eye is filled with the fluid. Okay, there are actually two chambers. One chamber is this one. This is one chamber. It is filled with a liquid called as vitreous humor. This is actually called the vitreous chamber. What is it called? Vitreous chamber. So vitreous chamber is filled with a liquid called as vitreous humor. So vitreous chamber is filled with a liquid called as vitreous humor. Okay. So what is the function of this liquid? This is the one which gives shape to the eyes, because it is, suppose if a balloon has a round or circular shape, it means it is full of air, no? Otherwise it will not get any shape, right? Similarly, your eyes are round because it is packed with this fluid called vitreous chamber. So the function of vitreous humor, the fluid's name is vitreous humor and the chamber's name or the compartment's name is called vitreous chamber. So this vitreous humor is the one which gives shape to the eye or eyeball. Okay, and also there is one more liquid in the front region. Here also you have a liquid and that is called aqueous humor and the chamber is called aqueous chamber. So this region is called aqueous chamber. Aqueous chamber, and similar to the vitreous humor, the liquid is actually called as aqueous humor. What is the function of aqueous humor? It nourishes the iris and cornea. Okay, it provides nutrients to the eyes. Okay, so this is about the structure of the eyes. So for your homework, what you are going to do is you are going to draw the structure of the eyes and send a picture to me. Okay, so in the upcoming classes we will be learning about the other sense organs all, and that is all for today's class. Until I meet you in one more biology class, you all take care and bye bye.